Good evening, students. My name is Mohit Alawat. I welcome you all to the first class of our answer writing lecture series. Okay, so me and Sachi Sharma ma'am here, we will be taking it. Okay, in further classes, other faculties will also be there. Okay, according to their subject expertise. So in this class, this is basics of answer writing. All right. First of all, online students, good evening. Please tell me I am visible as well as audible. Please tell me. Please write in the comments. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So it is very basic. I have done such kind of a basic answer writing before also, but there were many requests, sir, please upload the next video and so on and so forth. So I thought of let's do it in a proper structured manner from the start, from the beginning. So in this session, many of the things that we will tell you, you maybe already know. Many of the things you won't be knowing. You will learn something. Okay. So I urge all of you to take pen and pencil, all of you, pen and paper, start noting it down, because that is the way your brain will be more engaged. You will be learning a little bit more. Right? All right. So let's start. All right, so this is our plan. This is the plan of this series. So the first, we are here, basics of answer writing. After that, we will go paper wise. This is the manner we will go. And this is second, that doesn't mean it will be only one lecture. It might be 2 lectures, 3 lectures, depending upon, because there are many topics. One class might be for art and culture only, another might be for society only, geography only. It might be, let us say, geography might take 2 classes, right? And then we will go into GS paper 2, GS paper 3, 4, and in the end, we will wrap it up with some advanced suggestions, right? Fine. Till here, all of you are with me? Good. Now, first, let's briefly talk about, this is the agenda of our session. This class, the first lecture, this is the agenda. First, we will be talking about importance. All of you know the importance, right? 225 marks. And out of that, 750 marks are from answer writing skills only, right? Many of you have been preparing for more than a year. Many of you, can you please be a bit louder? Okay, Priya, am I loud enough now? Increase the volume. Please increase the volume, bhai. Radhika, am I audible now? Okay, thank you. So many of you are preparing for more than a year. Many of you are just starting your preparation. But even after those who have been preparing for more than a year, when you see a PYQ, when you see a question of mains, how do you feel after seeing the question? Do you feel very comfortable? Okay, oh, I know this question and I can write it. Or do you feel, I know this question, but I cannot write it? This is how you feel. Most of you feel, I know this question, but I cannot write the exact answer. When you see toppers copies, most of the time you feel like you also know the same content, but you cannot write the same answer. The UPSC examiner does not know you. And let me tell you one fact, that they are not interested in knowing you. They do not care about you. What they care about is your answer sheets, right? So they judge you from your answer sheets only, from your answers only. So if you have written a good answer, they do not care whether you have read one whole book, 10 whole books, or just one pager notes, right? So somebody who's reading 10 books but writing a very bad answer, and someone who's reading only one book writing very good answer, who will score more marks? Obviously the one who is writing good answers. So it is not the amount of content that you read, it is more about answer writing practice. Answer writing will decide your rank. There are many toppers. Have you seen this year's toppers? There are many toppers in the list. When you will see their interview marks, interview is very subjective. 275 marks, very, very subjective. For example, rank 74. That person has almost one of the highest marks in the interview, in the mains exam, 855, around 850, right? But his interview marks are 155 only. Still, he managed to get into IAS, rank 74. Why? Because his mains was very good. So interview is very subjective. It will be few old people judging you, and you cannot be dependent on that. So you have to develop your answer writing skills. There are no two views about it, right? Now in this, what we will be looking at, first we will be understanding how to decode the demand of the question. अगर डिमांड ही हमें समझ में नहीं आई, आप आंसर लिखने चल पड़े, क्या करेंगे आप? सबसे पहली बात तो यही है ना कि जो पूछा गया है वही बताओ. अगर उसी को नहीं बताया जो पूछा गया, if you are not able to answer what is being asked of you, right? And then how to write an engaging introduction, right? Then we will see the body, and this is the main answer actually. Introduction, conclusion, sometimes people see that they are like head and tails, but body is the main answer. So this is where your most of your marks you will fetch here, because this is here you will be writing the exact answer to the question. What are they asking, right? And then content enrichment is also needed. Value addition is also needed. Answer without value addition, copy will fetch only 80 marks. And how to take that 80 and make it into 120 marks, we will also discuss that, right? Then we will be discussing some presentation techniques. What are those techniques where you can fit in more material, more content within the given 2 pages or 1 page only, right? And then language is also important. Most of you, all of you I presume, are appearing in English language, right? So you have to answer in English. The examiner will be reading in English. No matter whether it is your second language, I'm pretty sure it is not your native language, right? At best it is your second language. It might be third for some people also, right? So how we will approach that part, and then in the end we will be looking at the how to write a great conclusion. We will be looking at the types and everything, right? Fine. Let's proceed now. Now, importance of answer writing I have discussed. We will not stay here. So to decode the demand of the question, these are the things that you need to take care of. First is directive words. Now directive words, they can be critical directive words, they can be descriptive, and it can be hybrid. Any three, right? You should be knowing what are those critical directive words, what are descriptive directive words, what are hybrid directive words. For example, many times you see, what do you see? You see explain. Where would you put explain in this category? Descriptive. Very good. So explain, elaborate, right? Discuss. Where would you put discuss? Comment. Please tell me in the questions. Critical. They are hybrid. Discuss. These are just examples, right? Comment and critical are whether in front of them it is critically examine written or not. Examine is a critical directive word or command word. Evaluate is a critical command word. Critically evaluate is also a command word. Analyze is a critical. So how do you approach the question when critical is there? It simply means you also write counter arguments, the other side of the arguments. That is also very, very necessary. You will not just give one side of the view. If you are writing, let us say, role of something or significance of something, you will be writing limitations as well. If UPSC asks you to judge or to evaluate the success of a particular scheme, let us say the question is about evaluate the success of MG Narega. Simple question. So here not only you will talk about the success, but you will also talk about where are the limitations in MG Narega. Are you getting the point? So these are critical. If critical command word is there, then counter side also. Counter arguments are a must. What happens in case of hybrid command words? In some cases, if it is possible, you will be writing counter arguments. For example, discuss the features of, let us say, Harappan architecture. So here there are no counter arguments, no? You will be just writing descriptive. You will be treating it as a descriptive command word or descriptive directive word. But if I say discuss the performance of MG-Narega. Now it becomes critical. So depending upon the context in which the directive word is asked or the written, you will be answering the question, right? Fair enough? Good. So 3 types of directive words for your simplicity. Anyone who did not understand? समझ में आ गया सबको? ठीक है, very good. अब आते हैं tone of the statement. Now this is very very important. I will give an example also. Sometimes you will judge that which body part I have to discuss or how I will be writing the introduction depending upon the tone of the statement, right? And it is very important to understand the tone of the statement. If the tone is slightly negative, slightly pointing towards an issue, you will be writing issues maybe in the introduction or wherever in the body part, wherever you deem fit. That to decode the real demand, tone of the statement is very very important, right? I will give you a PYQ example on the next slide. We will discuss that as well. And then keywords in the question. These keywords, why I have written these keywords? Because these keywords help you not only in deciphering the demand, they help you in writing the answer itself. Answer itself, right? And then the context. Now context is very very important. Context means sandarbh, Hindi में बोले तो संदर्भ. In which context, in which plane we are talking about, in which year, in recent of, let us say in the light of recent events. Sometimes UPSC ask this. So the context is recent events only. You don't have to go back to, let us say, Harappan civilization. In the light of recent events between India and Israel. So we don't have to go back pre-1947 or pre-1992. Are you getting the point? So this again becomes an important, we will discuss, I will explain more with the help of the example also. And the core and non-core demand. What are these actually? बोले सर ये कैसे पता करूँ core demand कौन सी, non-core demand कौन सी? So it's a simple funda is, if the question, अगर हम directive word को हटा दें, if we remove the directive word, if we see what are they asking, whatever is explicitly asked, that is your core demand. And whatever you decipher from, let us say, the directive words, tone of the statement, keywords of the statement, that comes under implicit demand or non-core demand, right? For example, if I say discuss the features of MG-Narega or discuss the success, let us say, right? Evaluate the success. So they are asking you to talk about the success. That is your core demand. They explicitly asked it, na? But now you will be writing the limitations as well. That becomes non-core demand. And after limitations, you might also give some suggestions. That becomes your non-core demand too, right? So deciphering all the parts, which part to write, which part not to write, is very very important, rather than doing a PhD on that scheme, right? You will be reading 3,000 words, more than that, I can guarantee you, on every topic. But before you read, please ask yourself, does UPSC ask you to write 3,000 words on any topic? 150 words, maximum 250 words, right? So which words you have to memorize or you have to make notes, that is very very important. So be careful in that, okay? Now let us take this example. This is 2025 PYQ, last year's, right? To achieve holistic development, a civil servant acts as an enabler and active facilitator of growth rather than a regulator. What specific measures will you suggest to achieve this goal? So what is the core demand? What is the core demand? What specific measures? This is the core demand, explicitly asked. They are asking, क्वेश्चन में साफ साफ लिखा हुआ है, भाई मुझे बताओ कौन कौन से स्पेसिफिक मेजर्स आप सुझाव देंगे, राइट? तो यही बताने हैं आपको, यही पूछा गया है. तो क्या इसका मतलब ये कि पहले वाली जो स्टेटमेंट है वो यूजलेस है, और इट विल हेल्प यू डिसाइड द कंटेंट ऑफ दिस क्वेश्चन. This is a question to ponder, right? So what you will be doing, just a second. Now let's come to achieve holistic development. Now tell me the tone of this statement. Tone of the statement. Measures to achieve holistic. Yes, Shubh. What is the tone of the statement? The tone of the statement clearly suggests that there is not the state of holistic development right now. We have to achieve it. slightly negative. And civil servants, they are not enabler and active facilitator of growth right now. They are more of a regulator. It puts a question mark on our state of development and on the role of civil servants that they are playing in the growth. So slightly negative. Many of the students, what mistake they will make in the introduction? You know what a mistake they will make? They will start talking about civil servants or civil services, how it is a steel framework, right? How it is very important for the growth and development of the nation. But rather than that, you have to understand, ये question पूछा क्यों गया है? Ask, whenever you try to write a question, ask yourself one another question कि ये question UPSC क्यों पूछेगी? कि शायद कहीं ना कहीं holistic development नहीं हो पा रही है, शायद ये role अपना अच्छे से नहीं कर रहे हैं. So the better introduction would be to come on to that point in the introduction itself. That is the context. कि you highlight the state of development. You highlight, let us say, state of discrimination, regional disparity, inequality, poverty, environmental damage. All of these goes again holistic development. So all of these issues that we are facing, they call for holistic development, and in that civil servants can play a very good role or important role. This is how you will write the introduction, right? So highlight those issues, why UPSC has been asking this question. And now most of the students will not write it. Not only you, many toppers do not write it, right? The other day I was discussing a few questions of rank 185, Ritika Pandey. So she was discussing with all these, sir, I did not even know this. I want to improve my rank. How do I go from here? So it is better if you know it from the very beginning, so that you don't repeat the same mistakes and you don't have to appear for rank improvement. Now the UPSC has also limited the chances to improve your rank as well, right? Ayushi, role shift from regulator to facilitator. Yes, that is also very good. Many students, they do not also show that. So introduction is clear in this question. It would be better if you highlight with some facts. You can highlight Oxfam report of inequality, you can highlight disparity, all those things. You can highlight environmental damage in the introduction. But you have to highlight all of these things, not one or two. Because the question says holistic development, right? What dimensions holistic development opens up? Does it open up women empowerment? Does it open up inclusive growth? Does it open up human development? Does it open up environmental sustainability? I could go on and on. From here only, if you know how to break down this keyword, you can generate 15 points. Let us, regulator. He is a regulator. Civil servant is not an enabler, not a facilitator, he is a regulator. So does it shows the limitations? What kind of limitations regulator will have? It will show red tapeism or not, right? It will somehow, let us say, show lack of ease of doing business. It will somehow show license Raj, which goes against, let us say, ease of doing business, right? So if you know what does this mean, what this regulator traditionally does, which is all wrong with the bureaucracy, you will be opening up the dimensions on your own. The answer is written in the question itself, but you should be knowing that, and that we will be discussing all those things. You know, we will be doing all these exercises, we will be discussing everything in the upcoming lectures, right? This is just the basics. So this is how you understand. Now, introduction. How to write a great introduction. There are some certain rules at basic level that you should be understanding. At basic level, very few certain rules. First is, because UPSC is giving you whole word limit and space limit for every question, every answer, either 2 pages or 3 pages, 150 words or 250 words. That's all. You will not get more space or more words, right? So there should be a word limit and space limit for introduction itself, right? What should be that? Tell me that. 2 to 3 lines. Okay, that's a, how should I count it? Whether should I count it in the space limit or word limit? Space limit. Then word limit, because one person can write 7-8 words in one line, another person will only be writing 3-4 words. Yes, you have to compress 50 to 70 words. No Swati, no 3-4 lines. For him, that might be right in case of a 15 marker. In case of a 15 marker, we can go up to 5 lines maximum. That is your maximum limit, right? But it would be better if we keep it under 5, we keep it up to 4. But if we go into word limits, or in percentage terms, shall I say ki around between 10 to 15% of total word limit, and as well as space limit, 15 being the max. And in 15 marker, that 15% limit won't hold, only 10%. So let us say you should be writing around 20 words, 2-3 words more, 2-3 words less, around 20. Or can I say 18 to 22 or 18 to 23 for a 10 marker, and somewhere between 22 to 27, 25 words around in a 15 marker, around that, and that is for a 10 marker. Try to stick to those. This is approximation, not more than that. Okay. Now, what to write? What we should write in an introduction? This is a good question, but you will get to know from the demand of the question as well. Before what we write, let's discuss what not to write. What should not be written in an introduction? Beginners, like many of you are, they make heavy mistake about what not to write. They write only those things only. क्या नहीं लिखना चाहिए इंट्रोडक्शन में? बहुत लोग करते हैं क्या? Okay, body part should not be written. That's a good start. Anyone else? No? Yes, that's also a very good thing. Let's do not write whatever you will be writing in the body. Let's not rephrase the statement of the question. Right? Many people, they are very smart. वो स्टेटमेंट कोई अपने शब्दों में रिफ्रेज करके लिख देते हैं, उनको लगता है कि बहुत बढ़िया इंट्रोडक्शन लिख दिया, राइट? बट दे कैन नॉट फूल एग्जामिनर, यूपीएससी एग्जामिनर स्पेशली. दैट गाय इज ऑलरेडी एनलाइटेंड, बुद्धा, राइट? अनदर थिंग, डू नॉट राइट एनीथिंग वेरी वेग एंड जनरलिस्टिक, or should I say generic, right? Do not write anything. For example, Gaganyaan is a very important mission for India. That can be said about so many things, right? So what you have to write, rather than writing something generic, you have to write concrete content. What do I mean by concrete content? For example, let us say if I am talking about history, then I should be writing names of people, I should be writing dates and eras. If I am talking about polity, I should be writing constitutional articles, I should be writing case laws, I should be writing recent news, recent happenings. If I am talking about economy, budget data, economic survey data, RBI data. If I am talking about social sector, NFHS data, right? If let us say the question is about criminalization of politics, NCRB data or something like that, PRI data, all those things. So you have to write whatever the content that you have to write, that should be concrete content. This is the first thing. But this concrete content has to be contextual. This concrete content has to be contextual. Whatever you are writing from point 1, from first word till the last word, and that thing is not in the context of the question, it will not be accepted. For example, the last question, if anyone starts with the definition of holistic development, they are not asking it, right? If I say there is a question about how do we remove poverty, or what step government is taking to remove poverty, if you start with the definition of poverty, you have lost the battle. They are not asking, right? अगर मेरी और आपकी पॉवर्टी के ऊपर डिस्कशन हो रही है, यू विल नॉट, आप बीच में रुक के मुझे पॉवर्टी की डेफिनेशन थोड़ी दोगे या इनइक्वालिटी की डेफिनेशन थोड़ी दोगे. वी विल टॉक अबाउट कॉजेज, वी विल एनालाइज द रीजंस, राइट? सो it has to be concrete as well as contextual. होता है ना कई बार दोस्तों के साथ कि कोई बात कर रहे होते हैं, फिर भी कोई ऐसा स्टूपिड काम करते हैं कि वो रोक के उसी टॉपिक पे बात कर रहे हैं पर कुछ और ही पॉइंट बोल देते हैं. देन यू काइंड ऑफ गेट शॉर्ट टेम्पर्ड एंड से कि भाई ये तो बात ही नहीं चल रही, ये तो पॉइंट ही नहीं है. सो बिकॉज दैट इज नॉट कॉन्टेक्चुअल. सो यू हैव टू बी इन द कॉन्टेक्स्ट. ओके, नाउ टाइप्स. What can you write? Let me give you 4-5 very popular types, and I will also rank them which is good, which is not that great. So, definition, many newcomers write it. I'm not saying it can never be written, it can be written. Let us say you are tackling a geography question. The question is about cyclones or twister, anything, right? Or volcanoes. You can start with the definition. Right? Another thing is brief overview of the whole situation. This is also people do. Right? They wrote briefly everything about this is the issue that is going on. Another is recent news or recent context. Recent context. This is also a type of introduction. Popularly you might have seen in toppers copies and everywhere. Another is definition, brief overview, recent context, data, facts, or shall I call it statistical introduction. That is also popular. And sometimes you also see quotes by PM, by any other personality, by Gandhi. Mostly you will find quotes in either in GS2 or maybe in essays or maybe in GS4, right? So if you ask me, use definitions very selectively. One another type also is there that is very popularly written by students, and which is background. You will find in most of the time it is written in IR questions or historical questions. People try to give a brief background of what happened. Let us say the question is about non-cooperation movement. Then people try to write the brief background, right? And that will serve as a good introduction. It is also a good introduction. I'm not saying it's bad, right? But what is the problem with introduction? This introduction, definition, brief overview. If you are writing background, I am guaranteeing you लिख लो 100 में से 99 बार, 99 times out of 100 you will not be able to write background in less than 50 words. It will always cross the word limit. Anyone who can write background, brief background within 25 words is a pro writer, which you are not, right? Because you are just starting. So why not avoid it? Until unless it is absolutely necessary, it is better we avoid it, right? Then definition, until unless you do not have anything else to write, or you think in this question definition will be a good, right? Like it is a very static question, there is no context to this question, right? कि पिछले 5 साल में कोई साइक्लोन ही नहीं आया, फिर भी यूपीएससी ने साइक्लोन का पूछ लिया, तो let's write the definition then. Otherwise we will give the name of those cyclones which has created havoc, right? Same with brief overview. It's like providing a brief summary, which tends at times it will become very generic and vague. You hardly will be able to inculcate facts, figure and all those. If you can inculcate facts, figure here, then it's good, right? Recent context, always good. Data, fact, again good. Quotes, also good. These are also good, but whatever you write in the introduction, be careful. I'm not saying you can never write background or brief overview or definition. You can definitely write that. But in these cases, you have to be little extra careful than other cases. What is that carefulness? That whatever I'm writing, it has to be in the context of the question. It has to be in the context of the question. People say कि ये contextual type का introduction है. Contextual कोई अलग type नहीं है. हर एक type का introduction contextual ही होना चाहिए. अगर data वाला लिखा और contextual नहीं है, उसका कोई point नहीं है उस data का. अगर रिसेंट न्यूज लगी है और वो न्यूज कॉन्टेक्चुअल नहीं है तो कोई पॉइंट नहीं है. आर यू गेटिंग द पॉइंट, राइट? So these are popular types. Now Sachi ma'am will take over, but just for the information purposes, on 15th of April we are starting short next batch mains program. It is for kind of a test series along with mentorship, and here you will be getting mentorship along with like me and other people, but rankers are the part of the program. और ऐसे रैंकर नहीं जिनका 5 साल पहले 10 साल पहले एग्जाम हुआ है, बिकॉज यूपीएससी इज इवॉल्विंग. ऐसे रैंकर्स जिनका इसी साल एग्जाम हुआ है या पिछले साल एग्जाम हुआ है, राइट. इसमें बाकी चीज़ें यू कैन रीड द ब्रोशर, वो सब चीज़ें आपको मिलेंगी, बट क्या नहीं मिलेगा, टाइम टेबल नहीं मिलेगा, राइट. आई एम सरप्राइज टू सी कि आज भी लोग 30-40 हज़ार रुपये टाइम टेबल्स के ऊपर खर्च कर रहे हैं. इफ़ यू कैन नॉट मेक अ टाइम टेबल फॉर योर सेल्फ, देन मे बी दिस प्रोग्राम इज़ नॉट फॉर यू, राइट. हाँ, इम्प्लीमेंट कैसे करना है, एग्जीक्यूट कैसे करना है, रैंक कैसे लानी है, वो चीज़ मिल जाएगी. और इस साल आई थिंक दिस वाज द ओनली द सेकंड ईयर ऑफ दिस प्रोग्राम, एंड फ्रॉम दिस प्रोग्राम अलोन वी हैव मोर देन 80% ऑफ द सिलेक्शन, 80 people, not 80%, more than 80 selections in numbers. Now Sachi ma'am will tell you the rest of the things. Sachi ma'am, please come.
Hello everyone, how are you all? So let's start from where Mohit sir left. Introduction is very important. Introduction gives a promise to an examiner that the answer will be very good. But introduction only gives the promises and body gives the delivery. And UPSC marks to the delivery and not to the promises. Introduction needs to be captivating, needs to be very engaging, but the real soul of any answer is the body. Let me say, if you have paucity of time and you are not able to complete the paper, and you are left with, let's say, 2-3 more questions to be answered, so then you can just skip the introduction and just write the body. That will easily give you mediocre marks. That's the importance of the body of the question or the answer. Okay, let's start. So as I said, this is the most important part of the question. It is approximately 80% of the total marks that you get. So let's say out of 10, the best marks can be 5, or if it's ethics paper you can get 6, and the body itself will give you at least 3 to 4 marks or more than that. If you have directly hit the demand of the question in the body, that's it. The examiner is impressed, you have got good marks, you have get the selection, that's it. So please focus on the body. And again, as the sir said, the body encompasses many things: core and non-core demand. What differentiated my earlier attempts to the attempt in which I finally got the selection, I approximately improved 60 marks in the mains itself, is that in the earlier attempts I wrote what I knew, and in my last and final attempt in which I got the selection, I wrote what the question demanded from me. There is a difference. The content is same. There was hardly any change in the content. It's just that I knew that which content has to be tweaked as per the context of the question. Understood? So there is a difference. And earlier I only answered the core demand of the question, like what are the specific measures of the government in this regard. I didn't address the non-core demand. So these were the two major differences which I did, and which ultimately helped me. Okay, let's start. So the very first question, since you are a beginner, that whether the body has to be written in paragraphs or points. My suggestion would be to write in points, though there is an exception. In ethics paper, and that too in quotation based question. If you know that there are 3 questions in section A of ethics, there are 2 sections, section A and B. Section A is theoretical, in which you will be getting 13 marks in total and 6 case studies. So in section A, out of those 13 marks, you will be getting 3 quotation based questions. Like you will be given a quotation and then you will be asked that what do you understand by this quotation in the recent context. In those questions, I can say that okay, you can go for the paragraph format. Otherwise, I will not suggest you to do so. Like I personally, out of 3, I used to write 2 quotation based questions in paragraph format, just to break the monotony, because otherwise it always used to be like points, 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 points. So just to break the monotony, that's it. Because in paragraph, the major hurdle is that it's like you have given a garbage to the examiner and you have asked that okay, take your content, take your point as per your wish. Please understand, they are very old people. They'll hardly give 2 to 3 minutes to your copy, to that particular answer, and they are not even accountable. You must be seeing that UPSC doesn't releases the answer sheets of the candidates. They are not even accountable. So we do not know. So make the things simpler for them. Just give them what they need. Just think yourself that okay, you will be getting few bucks. You have to give 2 to 3 minutes for this question. That's it. Whenever you will start thinking from an examiner point of view, it will be easier for you to answer that question. Okay. So I will suggest you to write the point in the point format and not in paragraph, though in such questions where more analytical or analysis is needed, there you can write in paragraph. Like I used to write paragraph in my optional paper. My option was sociology. So I used to write there. Wherever there was a feasibility or wherever there was a space to write, then I used to write in paragraph and in quotation based questions. That's it. So just go with the point format. Don't be revolutionary. That's my only thing. It's hard to say, but it's a trade-off. Do what other people are doing. Do it, get a selection and get out of this cycle. Okay. Okay. So the next important part is headings as per the number of demands. So there is a question, and in that particular question there can be multiple demands, and based on those demands there can be consecutively or subsequently the number of headings. Let me take you the recent 2025 PYQ only. So the question says, constitutional morality is the fulcrum which acts as an essential check upon the high functionaries and citizenries alike. Okay, one more thing. Whenever you will start write the answer, whenever you start the answer writing, the way to read and underline the question itself is that try to read the question for 2 to 3 times at least. Understanding my point? Because it's very difficult to decipher the core demand in the very first reading. Read the question for at least 2 to 3 points, 2 to 3 times. And while you are reading, just mark the important keywords. Like here, the keyword is constitutional morality, fulcrum, functionaries and citizens alike. In view of the above observation of the Supreme Court, explain the concept of constitutional morality and its application, and ensure balance between judicial independence and judicial accountability. Now tell me how many parts are there in this question. Online students, please participate. Tell me. Just tell me the parts in the body. How many headings will go? 3. Okay. Tell me the names of the headings as well.
Constitutional morality.
Okay.
Judicial independence, judicial accountability. That's application.
4.
That's application. 5. Judicial independence, judicial accountability. 6. That's application. 7. Judicial accountability. 8. Judicial independence. 9. Judicial accountability. 10. Judicial accountability. 11. Judicial accountability. 12. Judicial accountability. 13. Judicial accountability. 14. Judicial accountability. 15. Judicial accountability. 16. Judicial accountability. 17. Judicial accountability. 18. Judicial accountability. 19. Judicial accountability. 20. Judicial accountability. 21. Judicial accountability. 22. Judicial accountability. 23. Judicial accountability. 24. Judicial accountability. 25. Judicial accountability. 26. Judicial accountability. 27. Judicial accountability. 28. Judicial acc
Okay. Anyone else? Just say it, it's fine. You'll remember. If you are wrong, then there are more chances you to remember this and you'll do good.
Balancing measures.
Okay. Now tell me what the headings will go, the final headings. Okay, leave it. The first heading will go, as I said, this is the non-core demand. The context or the story given in the background. This is the non-core demand. So you have to address this as well. Okay, so the first heading will be how constitutional morality is the fulcrum which acts as an essential check. So the first heading will be how constitutional morality acts as a fulcrum and essential check. This will be the first heading. The second heading is explain the concept of constitutional morality. This will be the second heading. And its application to balance judicial independence and judicial accountability in India. And since it's a 15 marker, there will be another heading, because the key tail word here is explain. And whenever the keyword or the tail word is explain, analysis, comment, discuss, critically analyze, critically examine. So these keywords demand the holistic address of this whole question. So here you will also write that what challenges do we face in ensuring this balance. Understood? So the key tail word which Mohit sir earlier told, you missed that part. Explain. That's why I said always either box it or encircle it, but highlight the keywords of the question. Understood? Now challenges would be there. So if time and space allows you, then write a separate way forward or just merge your suggestion in the conclusion itself. If it would have been a 10 marker, there would not have been enough time and space for you. So just merge your suggestion in the conclusion itself. But since it's a 15 marker and there are high chances that you will be left with enough time and space, because 10 minutes are given generally to a 15 marker question, then you should write a separate way forward. Understood? So this is headings as per the number of demands, and believe me, break the question. तोड़ दो क्वेश्चन को जितने पार्ट्स में पॉसिबल हो उतना, बिकॉज प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड द मोर हेडिंग्स यू विल बी हैविंग द lesser number of points you will be requiring. If there would have been only 2 headings, you have to write at least 7-8 points under each heading. But now since the headings are, let's say, 3 or 4, so 3-4 points under each heading would have been enough. You have addressed the question in a holistic manner, you have addressed every demand of the question, you require lesser number of points, examiner is happy, you have got your marks, that's it.
Can we explain what's the non-core demand, like what was the importance of that and how to put that in answer?
Okay. Constitutional morality is the fulcrum which acts as an essential check upon the high functionaries and citizenaries alike. The basic funda here which it is talking about is the equality. That constitutional morality helps in balancing the high functionaries and citizens alike. It keeps them on same pedestal. This is the core concept behind this non-core demand. Now just write points around it, how it ensures it, that you will get to know when you will read the content, constitutional morality is highly asked question, be it prelims, be it mains, you will be having n number of pages over it. Okay. Prioritization of points. Again, let's say you have taken a heading, you have written 4 points or 5 points. Now make sure that you have written the most important point at the first place, because as I said, there will be hardly 2 to 3 minutes for an examiner to gauge through your answer, not even read properly. They'll be just sipping their tea and just going through your copies. They are not as concerned as you are. So give them the material, the masala in the beginning itself. Okay. So prioritization of the points. You might know the exact point that the other person is knowing, but that person might be scoring more marks in the same content that you have written. It's just that prioritization of points. Because a person has to check, let's say 50 to 60 copies a day. Just make the work more easier for him or her. So give the most important point in the beginning itself. Okay, so they know that okay, you have written the core, the masala, now no need to go further. You have got your marks. Okay. The flow of the body. Which part of the question should be addressed first? Like a question might have 2 things. For example, we will be discussing the reference question as well. Significance and challenges. Now the question has to be logically aligned. Your answer has to be logically aligned. The structure of the answer should be logical. Like if a question is asking that what is the significance and what are the challenges associated with it. You cannot write challenges first and then significance and then way forward. It doesn't go well. आप खुद सोचो, आपने challenges लिखे, then आपने उसकी importance बताई, then way forward. It's very absurd. बहुत अटपटा लगता है. So find the right chronology of the question itself. That okay, first you have to take the significance, then challenges, and then way forward. It makes more sense. I have written n number of test series, and the more you write your answer in a flow, the more marks you get. So flow has to be like okay, cut, points, correct heading, points, given marks, आगे बढ़ो. So understand the question. That's why I said, do not go by the arrangement of the demands in the question itself. Read the question, understand it, and then align your headings and your answer accordingly. थोड़ा अपना दिमाग लगा लेना. Don't go by the literal arrangement of the demand of the question in the while you are writing the answer. Okay. Now the question is, in the present digital age, again it is a 2025 PYQ, social media has revolutionized our way of communication and interaction. However, it has raised several ethical issues and challenges. Describe the key ethical dilemma in this regard. Now tell me the headings and in what order you will be giving those headings. Tell me.
Starting with the importance of social media,
Okay.
and then with ethical issues, and then challenges, and then ethical dilemma, and then way forward as the last.
This is the non-core demand. This is the context of the question. This is the implicit part of the question. So the core demand is the question that has been asked by the UPSC, and the implicit or the context or the non-core demand is the part of the question that UPSC wants that okay, you have to write in that particular plane. You cannot miss that. So you have to write that how social media has actually revolutionized our way of communication and interaction. Now you cannot write it, okay, ethical issues and challenges you will be writing first, and then how it has helped. It has to go in order that, okay, it has helped us, but what are the ethical issues? Again, there is a difference between ethical issues and ethical dilemmas, not the part of this session. Maybe in GS4 we will be talking about that. But ethical issues, then ethical dilemmas, and finally way forward. So this is how the order of the headings will go. Challenges? No. Achamba, this is not how, that's what I was talking about. You cannot write the challenges first. You have to write how social media has actually helped, then ethical issues and challenges, and then dilemmas. Okay. Addressing the implicit demand. Energy security constitutes the dominant kingpin of India's foreign policy. Very important. Energy security, highly in news, and is linked with India's overarching influence in Middle Eastern countries. How would you integrate energy security with India's foreign policy trajectories in coming year? You know the implicit demand here, you know the non-core demand here. Tell me, which is the non-core demand?
Importance of Middle Eastern countries. This is the non-core.
Here, how you can write it? You can either write in two headings in the non-core demand. How I would have approached it? I would have so how energy security constitutes dominant kingpin of India's foreign policy. I would have addressed this through it. And how it is linked with India's overarching influence in Middle Eastern policy, simple format, heading, points.
What will be the heading?
The first heading would be, right, energy security dash kingpin in India's foreign policy. Second heading, influence in,
But we have to make heading out of the questions only.
yes, this is very important, though I will be talking about it. Let's address it here only. What I used to do, I sort of used to cheat as well. So what I used to do, I used to directly take the word for the headings. I used to not rephrase it. No matter how much points I know, no matter how much content I know, it doesn't matter. If we have shown, it's all about show. If you have shown the examiner that, okay, you have exactly identified the exact or the core demand of the question and write it in the heading itself without rephrasing it, it's well and good. You can concise your heading, but don't change the keywords there. I used to do it a lot in ethics because it's very difficult to understand or decipher. But I used to make sure that, okay, what has been asked in the question, the same keyword will go while I am writing in the heading. So the examiner would know that, okay, the student has at least guessed the demand of the question in a well-mannered way. Understood? So do not rephrase it. We are not capable enough. We are not editors of the newspapers. So just keep the heading as it is. So the first heading would be like this, and second is India's influence in Middle Eastern countries, or I would have skipped India because this question is not talking about any other country. It is simply talking about India. So anyways, it's very implicit, or by default it's about India only. So I would have written influence in Middle Eastern countries, dash, put it into the box and write your points. Yes, that's how you have to do, Kushal. Understanding the tone of the question. I think Sarev has sort of told you that understanding the tone of the question. This same question could have been in a very positive tone, but the question is putting civil servants or civil services in a bit of grey area. So you have to highlight the issues regarding a civil servant. So the main focus while you are attempting this will be the non-core demand. So the main focus while you are writing the non-core demand would be how civil servant act as a regulator and not the enabler and active facilitator. You can confuse that, okay, what do I have to write, whether civil servants are enabler or active facilitator, or whether I have to write the regulator, but understand the tone. The tone itself is saying that they are not doing their job properly. So the non-core demand would be requiring that, okay, what they are acting as a regulator. So you have to highlight the challenges and not this part. Understanding my point? So apply a bit common sense, try to understand the basic undertone of the question, that's it. And what specific measures you can write there. Please make sure that you do not write government schemes here. You have to write your own way forward. Though you can obviously use, let's say, recommendations of the committees, that would be fine. Or you can use that, okay, if there is any Supreme Court judgment, that you can use, because they have still not implemented. But you cannot write the government measures. You have to use your way forward. There is a difference between way forward and government measures. So be sure of that. Can we conclude with the integrity of civil? Yes, we can conclude that. Size of the points. Using self-explanatory keywords. So this I also understood in very later stages of my examination cycle, is that try to concise the size of the point. Like there is a concept that, okay, civil servants or bureaucrats are not very much connected to the ground realities. They behave in a very elitist way. Now if I have to write this much in a point, and let's say if I write ivory tower syndrome, one and the same thing. I have just summarized what I have just told you. So this keyword is more catchy, will give an impression to the examiner that, okay, your language is very good, your time would be saved, and just write it. You do not need to explain it further. Write an example and move forward. What major mistakes which I find while I am reviewing the beginner's copy is that they write very lengthy points. I understand that it's a starting, but gradually try to reduce it. Come to the keywords, key phrases. Understood? So please ensure that the size of the point should be very less. It can hardly be of 1.5 lines. Even two lines I would not suggest. This can be. If you write big fonts, please try to reduce your font size. You have time, just do that. Okay? So, and that these keywords should be self-explanatory. Now, ivory tower syndrome must be known to the examiner. It's not a very alien concept. अब कुछ आप अलग theory ले आओ, which let's say if that particular theory is in your optional and you use that in your GS papers, do not expect marks from the examiner then. It will unnecessarily also show that you are arrogant enough, that you are showcasing or showing off your knowledge. Just use those theories, those keywords, those key phrases which should be known by, in general, by aware citizens, informed citizens. We cannot expect that those keywords should be knowing, let's say, by a common citizen, but aware or informed citizen should know about it. So those should be self-explanatory. Okay. So this was whole about body. Any issues that you want to ask? Then let's move to the next part.
In the phase of concising the points, if we lack the word limit, just when you said it like 1.5 page for 10 marks.
Huh? It's good. It's fine. If you address the demands in a very proper way, then it's good. In fact, what I used to do was, in ethics paper, it's a very lengthy paper, I used to deliberately reduce my section A answers to 1.5 pages and case studies to 3.5 pages. But I used to make sure that the demands do not suffer. What I want to write do not get. Also, after, let's say this is the page, I have completed here, then I used to make it like this, so that the examiner knows that it's not that I have left the answer, I have just completed my answer. Just show it. There is a way. If you leave it without, and the space is there, then it might give an impression that okay, you might do not know about it. But I used to then just do this, that okay, I have written what I wanted to write. Okay. Okay. Content enrichment. From 80 to 120 marks. Very important. Again, highly important, understood in a very later stages. But what happens is, earlier I used to write only points, only arguments, but examples, data, reports, any key phrases, just add credibility. Let's say I just write that okay, poverty in India is very high. Just write it in the data figures, no? Or I would just write okay, poverty is increasing, then I would just draw a bar graph there. This is more presentable, it gives a very good sight to the examiner, and it will help to fetch you more marks. Again, I am saying that it's too much to take in one class, but just keep on practicing, it will happen. You have time, again I am saying you have time. Understood? Okay. What happens also is, if you add content enrichment or value addition, it gives credibility to what you are saying. Like you have just given the argument, it does not give you enough credibility, but you add, let's say, data, let's say examples, let's say any government schemes, let's say any recent issue, let's say any case laws, examples, constitutional articles, data, facts, recent news, then it gives credibility that okay, what you have written is substantiated enough. One of the major sources which I also used to take, apart from newspapers, monthly magazines or Yojana and whatever you are reading, I used to explicitly take content from toppers copies. Toppers copies like anything, मतलब ऐसे कैसे उठा के रखती थी. Like बकायदा I used to print it out and keep it. I used to read it as if they are my notes, highlighting them, underlining the keywords, taking the examples. Just I used to do that because it gives credibility that okay, if someone has written these lines or these points and has got selected, then why not I? Why do I have to gada mazduri more? Why I have to take on an ego? Unless you do not intend to publish a book after getting selected, that's an altogether different vision. but otherwise you can just pick the content and model answers. So after, in fact, I have hardly read any book for ethics. Still I managed to get decent enough marks in both my mains. So, but what was my main source? My main source was this, model answers and toppers copies. That's what I'm saying. Just do the Jugadu method. Take the keywords, take the content. If you will be reading one book for a particular topic, and that particular topic might not get asked in the examination, take the model answers, because there the keywords are there, the way you should highlight your answers are there, examples are there, data, facts, figures, diagrams, everything is there. Pick them and use them brutally. Okay. So this is the source, apart from obviously newspapers, monthly magazines, Yojana, many PDFs circulate in the Telegrams group as well. So you can do that. So ensure this, and ensure this from the very first day. If you have prepared your basic notes, then, and do not consider them as your exhaustive notes. Just keep on value adding. Let's say if you have made your basic notes on Citizen Charter, let's say 2 pages. Definition of Citizen Charter, significance, challenges, government measures, way forward, conclusion. This is the basic notes of Citizen Charter. Do not end your notes here. Pick, now you have attempted any ethics paper or any GS2 paper, and there was a question on Citizen Charter. Definitely you will be getting some or the other new point, new content, new information, new data, any best practice. Pick that and add it to your notes. Take a stick-on, paste here, write in the sidelines, add a page and do it. So value addition of content enrichment is a process. It cannot be like it cannot be a one-day process. If you start today, then it will happen, let's say, after 6 months. Understood? So that's how you can do that. Okay. Now the next is presentation techniques. These are the ways through which you can make your answer more presentable and more lucrative to the examiner. Though in the further series we will be going into the details that, okay, paper wise for each subject, how you can present your answer in a very good way for each subject, for each paper, in the further series of this, in the further lectures of this series. But in general I am saying, like maps. Maps can be used in IR, in history, in geography, in, let's say, security. If you have to show that how India is sandwiched between golden triangle and other golden. So use that, use maps. It will, don't write that how India is sandwiched or India is neighborhood to the golden triangle. Instead, draw it in the side of your answer sheet. Okay, maps, diagrams. For example, geography. Now in geography there are generally 2 ways to draw any diagram. Either it can be phenomena based or it can be in general about the distribution. So let's say a question comes on phenomena, that let's say a question is on cyclone or volcano or earthquake. You will be drawing the diagram of the phenomena, that how it happens. But let's say a question comes on the geographical distribution of a particular mineral, then you will be drawing the distribution. You will be drawing the world map and just mark it there. Instead of writing the particular sites, the particular countries, you can just draw it. It will be more presentable. You will be needing less time, because with practice let's say for world political map, you have to practice it in, let's say, 10 seconds. You have to be that fast. Again, it will happen gradually. Okay, flowcharts. Flowcharts, it can be used in multiple ways. If a question talks about, if a question is in temporal, if it says that, okay, how India has evolved, then you can use flowchart, that how India used to be earlier, then how it went, what all process it went through, and finally what is it now. Flowchart, okay, if you have to explain any phenomena, again you can use a flowchart. If you have to explain any process, then you can use a flowchart. Then diagrammatic presentation. How I used to do was, I explicitly used it in the non-core demand of the question to break the monotony of me and for the examiner as well. Like this is the sheet, non-core demand heading comes here. Use them. There are n number of ways to do that. Chart out your own innovative diagram. Pie charts, bar graph, again I have showed. Like bar graph, you can show it if you have to show any trend. Pie chart, if you have to show the contribution of any particular phenomena to a overall process. Like if there is a question about the exploitation of the groundwater, then the major contributor to the exploitation of groundwater is agriculture. And just draw it like this. Instead of writing it, just draw it like that. And just write the percentage, let's say 60%. That's a much better way to present your answer. Okay. Highlighting the headings and the keywords. Again, I've mentioned it enough. Use the box for the headings. Explicitly show. It's all about the show. Show the examiner that this is the heading. And then write the points. Highlight the keywords. Underline them. If you are not pro enough to use two pens, I was not pro enough. I used to write it in for one pen only. But highlight the keywords. Ivory tower syndrome, you have to highlight it. You have to show the examiner. If it is not going through the explanation, then it is satisfied with the keywords at least. Boxing examples and value added content. Let's say you have written any argument, example, or example. Any government scheme you have mentioned, any committee you have mentioned, underline it. Okay? Yes, upcoming sessions will be free of cost, Bhumika. So, this is how you have to present yourself. Understood? Only if there is a scope to draw the diagrams. If you do not find the scope, do not go for it, just for the sake of going for it. Like in 2024, in ethics paper, I do not write or do not draw a single diagram because I personally do not found any scope. But many people find it. So if you are not comfortable enough, why to go into that territory? Just write your arguments in a strong manner. That's enough. Okay. So this is the presentation techniques. Now language and articulation, sir will take. Thank you.
Like you said, we have to draw diagrams like around left hand and right hand. Can we draw in the middle if we have less content?
If you have less content, you can.
And is there any need of further explanation of
No. If you are drawing the diagram, the basic funda of drawing any diagram is that you do not repeat the same in the line format or in the text format. If you have drawn that particular diagram, that's it. Okay.
Online students, am I audible? आवाज आ रही है भाई? Okay, very good. So as Sachi ma'am was saying, presentation is very important, right? एक कोई और बच्चा ऑनलाइन पूछ रहा है कि इंट्रो और बॉडी कंक्लूजन सब पॉइंट्स में लिखना है, ओनली बॉडी इन पॉइंट्स, राइट? व्हाई नॉट इन पैराग्राफ्स? बिकॉज इन पैराग्राफ्स आपका आर्ग्यूमेंट छुप जाता है. आप एग्जामिनर को फोर्स कर रहे हो, उससे मेहनत करा रहे हो कि मेरा आर्ग्यूमेंट पढ़े, मैंने कितनी अच्छी बात लिखी है. दे आर नॉट गोइंग टू look for that. Your only job, or let us say the most important job in examination hall, is to make the job of examiner easy. If you can do it, you will get good marks. The examiner, what examiner is doing actually, they are looking for your marks in your answers. If they are present in your answers, they will award you, right? So writing in paragraph format is like, let us say, a diamond in the dustbin. वो ढूंढ के नहीं निकालने वाला अब उसको, आपको उसके पास फ्रूट खाने का टाइम नहीं है, सलाद काट के देनी पड़ेगी. आप समझ गए मेरी बात का मतलब? यस. नाउ लेट्स कम टू द कंक्लूजन. लैंग्वेज एंड आर्टिकुलेशन. ओके, सिंपल. ऑल राइट, simple, but let me repeat it one more time, right? Simple and error free. Simple means like a 12th standard person, 12th standard student, 10th standard student. Simple, right? They do not need a Shashi Tharoor, as I keep repeating. Ek kafi hai, right? The country right now doesn't need one extra. Okay, so simple language which can be understood by anyone with elementary knowledge of English, and error free. गलतियां नहीं होनी चाहिए लैंग्वेज में. अब यूपीएससी ने आपको बोला है चूज कर लो कौन सी लैंग्वेज में मेंस लिखोगे. अगर आपने अपनी चूज की हुई लैंग्वेज में गलतियां कर दी तो पेनल्टी आपकी. उन्होंने फोर्स नहीं करा कि इंग्लिश में लिखो, हिंदी में लिख लेते, कोई और लैंग्वेज में लिख लेते, बहुत सारे ऑप्शन हैं. तो ग्रामेटिकल एरर फ्री. देयर शुड बी नो स्पेलिंग एरर, नो ग्रामेटिकल एरर. इफ यू डू नॉट नो, लेट अस से बहुत सारे लोग ग्रामीण पृष्ठभूमि से आते हैं, रूरल बैकग्राउंड, नहीं पढ़े होते उतने ज़्यादा. यू कैन इम्प्रूव, इट इज़ वेरी ईजी. जस्ट लर्न tenses, voices, narration, 3 things, and your English is good to go. Okay, done. Use of keywords. Now Sachi ma'am has also discussed it. It is very important. Ivory tower syndrome, I can write a whole book on that. They might ask an essay on just ivory tower syndrome, but it is a keyword. It explains at least 500 words. Are you getting the point? अगर हम सेक्युलरिज्म की बात करें, प्रिंसिपल्ड डिस्टेंस मॉडल इज व्हाट इंडिया फॉलोज, या फिर आपने पढ़ा होगा इक्वी डिस्टेंस मॉडल. यू कैन राइट अ होल बुक ऑन इक्वी डिस्टेंस मॉडल और प्रिंसिपल्ड डिस्टेंस मॉडल, बट that 3 words, what they are signifying that you know what it means. Examiner is looking for that keyword only. So the use of keywords is actually the language of UPSC examination. हर एक सब्जेक्ट की, हर एक पेपर की अपनी लैंग्वेज होती है. बायोलॉजी की अलग लैंग्वेज है, फिजिक्स की अलग है, हिस्ट्री की अलग है. यूपीएससी की लैंग्वेज है कीवर्ड्स. अगर आप कीवर्ड्स में बात नहीं कर सकते आपको नंबर नहीं मिलेंगे. Fair enough? Very good. Avoid complex and long sentences. Long sentences mean any sentence which goes beyond, you have to stop at 5 words, but if it goes beyond 8 words, it is very long now. Avoid using hence, thence, thy, all those things. Thereby, avoid using that. Rather break the sentences in 2, write 2 sentences. Right? Complex. Vocabulary should be simple. I discussed in earlier point also. Clear hai? Very good. Now next is conclusion. Again, simple word limit and space limit, 2 से 3 लाइन या maximum 10 to 15%. ठीक है? Before we discuss what to write, let us discuss what not to write. क्या नहीं लिखना है. यू टेल मी क्या नहीं लिखना है, कंक्लूजन में क्या नहीं लिखना है, व्हाट यू हैव नॉट, लेट अस से यू शुड नेवर राइट. Question itself, again, don't rephrase the question, very good. Definition, of course, definition, do not repeat the points, yes. Or things already in the body, yes. Low voice, भाई आवाज बढ़ा दीजिए. Okay. Then what not to write? Many times, even students at intermediate level, not at the advanced level, even at intermediate level of answer writing, what they do, they write summary of the answer. क्योंकि उनको कुछ और मिलता ही नहीं है. दे समराइज द होल आंसर इन वन पैराग्राफ एंड राइट दैट. डोंट डू दैट. कंटेंट को रिपीट कर रहे हो, अपना टाइम वेस्ट कर रहे हो, एग्जामिनर का टाइम वेस्ट कर rहे हो. उसको टाइम वेस्टिंग इंसान चाहिए ही नहीं. राइट, ही हैज रेड दैट. समरी कैन बी ए गुड इंट्रोडक्शन इन, गुड कंक्लूजन इन essay, because in essay you are writing 1200 words, 10 to 12 pages you are writing. जब तक आखिरी पेज पे आए, हो सकता है एग्जामिनर आपने शुरुआत में या बॉडी में क्या क्या लिखा भूल गया हो, तो you might remind the examiner through the summary, but here you are only writing 150 to 250 words. ये क्वेश्चन छोड़ो, एग्जामिनर को पिछले 3 क्वेश्चन याद है आपके, राइट? तो अवॉइड समराइजिंग, किसी भी कीमत पे नहीं लिखना है. यू डू नॉट हैव टू रिपीट योर कंटेंट एट ऑल. अगर नहीं है तो छोड़ देना है, पर समरी नहीं लिखनी है. गुड, वेरी गुड. रिफ्रेजिंग की बात हो ही गई है, राइट? अगेन जेनरिक कंटेंट नहीं लिखना है, राइट? तो लिखना क्या है, टाइप्स क्या क्या है, मोस्ट पॉपुलर टाइप्स हैं. अगेन पहला, कोट्स लिख देते हैं कई बार. पीएम मोदी की कोट, कोई यूएन की कोट है, एपीजे अब्दुल कलाम कोट. वी यूज सो मेनी कोट्स इफ इट फिट्स इन द कॉन्टेक्स्ट, राइट? Then another type is objectives or outcome or targets or vision or goal, right? Viksit Bharat, increasing or doubling farmers' income, vision of Sagar, right? Sustainable development goals. So all those things you can link into the conclusion. Let us say before the conclusion, the last part you were writing way forward. You were writing some suggestions. आप सुझाव दे रहे थे कि ये काम हमें करने चाहिए. अब नेक्स्ट लॉजिकल पार्ट क्या है, भाई हम ये काम कर लेंगे, अगर ये स्टेप्स गवर्नमेंट ने ले लिए, अच्छे से इंप्लीमेंट कर लिए, देन वी विल अचीव सम गोल ना. देयर हैज टू बी पोटेंशियल आउटकम ऑफ दोज स्टेप्स. सो दैट पोटेंशियल आउटकम यू शुड राइट. आंसर शुड लॉजिकली फ्लो. नेक्स्ट स्टेप तो वही आता है, राइट? So this we can do. Another thing that we can do is relevance, right? Or significance or contemporary relevance. Let us say you are dealing with a question about Mahatma Gandhi or Jyotiba Phule or Rabindranath Tagore, any historical or cave paintings. What is their contemporary relevance? क्यों पढ़ रहा हूं मैं इन चीजों को? आप क्यों पढ़ रहे हैं? कुछ तो होगा. कंटेम्प्रेरी टाइम पे क्या सिखा रही हैं वो चीज़ें हमें? तो लिंक विद रेलेवेंस. और जब आप रेलेवेंस, फॉर एग्जांपल हिस्टोरिकल पर्सनैलिटीज की बात है, तो जब आप रेलेवेंस से लिंक करेंगे तो व्हाट यू विल बी डूइंग, यू विल बी सॉल्विंग सम प्रॉब्लम्स, सम प्रेजेंट डे इश्यूज. कि इफ वी अप्लाई गांधी जीज टीचिंग्स टुडे, वी कैन गेट आउट ऑफ पॉवर्टी, और मे बी वी कैन टैकल environmental problems, or maybe terrorism, war, peace, anything, right? We can achieve peace. So contemporary relevance, right? और sometimes let us say geography की बात है, अगर contemporary relevance नहीं है तो relevance in at that point of time in the history, right? समझ में आया? प्लेट टेक्टोनिक्स थ्योरी आई, उसने पूरी ज्योग्राफी ही बदल दी, पूरा सब्जेक्ट मैटर ही चेंज हो गया उसके बाद. दैट वाज अ रेवोल्यूशनाइजिंग थ्योरी. तो उसकी क्या इंपॉर्टेंस रही है? अगर प्लेट टेक्टोनिक्स पे है तो रेलेवेंस एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम, ठीक है? तो कंटेम्प्रेरी टाइम्स में भी लिख सकते हैं और दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम पे लिख सकते हैं, ठीक है ना? लेगेसी क्या है? अगर फॉर एग्जांपल ब्रिटिश की एग्रीरियन पॉलिसीज पे आ गई, तो आज की कॉलोनियल लेगेसी, आज हमारा स्टेट ऑफ एग्रोरियन क्या चल रहा है? द स्टेट ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर इज इन डायर स्टेट्स ना. फार्मर्स आर डूइंग सुसाइड. So you can link with that it is a result of a British exploitative policy that we are still facing its after effects, right? Good. Quote हो गया, relevance हो गया, समरी लिखनी नहीं है, राइट, विजन, गोल, that you have to write, right? So these are some of the popular ways. There might be some other also, but we will discuss that as we will go further in our series, right? The second lecture we will start GS1. ठीक है ना, आपने पढ़ा बहुत है, और जब आप आंसर लिखेंगे ना तो what you will realize कि आप पढ़ भी गलत तरीके से रहे हैं, क्योंकि इतनी सारी चीज़ें पढ़ रहे हैं और जब तक आपको यही नहीं पता कि आंसर में क्या लिखना है, तो बहुत सारी ऐसी चीज़ें भी पढ़ रहे हैं, आपको लग रहा है कि दिस इज इंपॉर्टेंट विच इज़ नॉट एक्चुअली इंपॉर्टेंट फ्रॉम एग्जाम्स पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, राइट? सो इन नेक्स्ट सेशन, इस बार भी आप लेके आए हैं, पर अगले सेशन में भी डू ब्रिंग योर कॉपी एंड पेन. वाई? बिकॉज आफ्टर दैट वी विल डिस्कस एवरीथिंग. आई विल टेल यू द फ्रेमवर्क्स जो आपको अप्लाई करने हैं. नाम सुना होगा आप लोगों ने टेम्पलेट्स, राइट? सो आई विल गिव यू द टेम्पलेट्स एज वेल. और सिर्फ देने से काम नहीं चलेगा, यू विल हैव टू लर्न टू अप्लाई दोज. So after that what we will do, we will learn to apply it. ठीक है ना, practice, live practice of 1 or 2 questions that we will also be doing. क्योंकि खाली बैठ के सुनने का क्या मतलब अगर सीखा ही नहीं तो. So in next lecture we will do that. Okay? And to students who are on Zoom, I mean there are more than 350 students at one point of time. So if you are in Delhi, do come here offline and bring your pen and copy so that you can practice live with these folks. Okay, so this was it for today's class, and if anyone wants to discuss anything with me, you can meet me here at 7B on first floor itself in the adjacent room I said. Okay, and if anyone is interested, this is there. Okay, so thank you for joining. Yes, mostly for those who are appearing in 2027. Whether, see, my point is if you are looking to appear in 2027, then it will help you. Yes. That I cannot tell you specifically whether you can join it or not without discussing your state of preparation with you. पहले मुझे बैठ के 15 मिनट आपको समझना पड़ेगा, राइट? अगर आप बिल्कुल ही बिगिनिंग लेवल पे होंगी तो आई विल से कि नहीं, आप 3 महीने 6 महीने और वेट कीजिए या नेक्स्ट ईयर का वेट कीजिए. Then it will not benefit you. It will be a waste of time otherwise. तो अगर डाउट है तो लेट्स डिस्कस फर्स्ट. पहले मुझे 2-4 आंसर्स आपके देखने पड़ेंगे, क्योंकि कुछ लोगों का बैकग्राउंड बहुत अच्छा होता है और कुछ लोगों का बिल्कुल अच्छा नहीं होता. लोगों को बस ये दिखता है कि यार फर्स्ट अटैम्प्ट में हो गया, इसका फर्स्ट अटैम्प्ट में हो तो गया, पर उसके पीछे का बैकग्राउंड तो देखो, राइट? डू यू थिंक टीना डाबी गॉट फर्स्ट रैंक, देन रिया डाबी गॉट रैंक इन टॉप 20, बोथ सिस्टर्स? Was that in first attempt only? Was that by accident? No. तो they were part of a system. कुछ तो है उनके बैकग्राउंड में, उनके पेरेंट्स सिविल सर्वेंट है, मे बी वो 3rd 4th क्लास से उसी चीज़ की तैयारी कर रहे हैं. सो वी सी कि हाँ पहले ये अटैम्प्ट में हो गया, बट वी डू नॉट सी कि हाँ उनका 10 साल का हार्डवर्क है, और उनका नहीं, उनके पेरेंट्स का भी हार्डवर्क है. सो लाइक दैट. ओके, सो थैंक यू गाइज, कीप स्टडिंग. यस, कैन वी स्किप इन मेंस एग्जामिनेशन? अगर मेंस एग्जामिनेशन में आपने एक भी नंबर का छोड़ दिया तो बाहर हो, ये मान के मेंस में बैठना है. इट इज़ अ फैक्चुअल क्वेश्चन तो भी लिखना है, और कैसे लिखना है वो मैं सिखा दूंगा. जब आपको कीवर्ड्स को ब्रेक डाउन करना आ जाएगा, आपके पास टेम्पलेट्स होंगे ना, तो आपको कोई भी क्वेश्चन फैक्चुअल नहीं लगेगा, आप कुछ ना कुछ तो लिख ही लोगे. सबसे बड़ा क्वेश्चन जो बच्चे डील करते हैं वो ये करते हैं कि सर जो क्वेश्चन आता ही नहीं उसको कैसे लिखूं, उसी के लिए तो टेम्पलेट्स हैं. आर यू गेटिंग द पॉइंट? कि आपको नहीं पता तो भी आपको पता कि हाँ ये 15 पॉइंट मैंने, मुझे पता है इन डायमेंशन पे मैंने खोलना है, इस टॉपिक पे आ गया. 1 or 2 क्वेश्चन वी कैन से कि हाँ, लेट अस से कि 1000 नंबर का पेपर है पूरे जीएस का, उस 1000 में से अगर आपने 980 तक का अटैम्प्ट किया, टिल दैट इट इज़ फाइन. 1-2 10 मार्कर आपने छोड़ दिए पूरे 4 पेपर में, टिल दैट इट इज़ फाइन. अदरवाइज ट्राई नॉट टू लीव इवन 1 मार्क. वहाँ पे 1-1 नंबर की फाइट है, वहाँ पे सिर्फ टॉप 10,000 ही लिख रहे हैं पूरे कंट्री के, और वो 10,000 ऐसे बच्चे हैं जिन्होंने IITs क्लियर किए हैं, जिन्होंने एम्स क्लियर किया है, राइट, जो अपने फील्ड में टॉप पे रहे हैं. तो यू आर कंपीटिंग विद द बेस्ट ऑफ द बेस्ट. तो इफ यू आर थिंकिंग कि आई कैन लीव, ये तो थॉट ही नहीं आना चाहिए. द थॉट इटसेल्फ इज अ क्राइम, यू शुड बी इन जेल फॉर दैट. आर यू गेटिंग द पॉइंट? यस. ओके, No, Step Up is not under me. Step Up is under Richa ma'am and Sashank sir, both great people. So okay guys, thank you so much. I'll see you again most probably within a week. Okay, whether you join the program or not, the series will continue. You will learn the answer writing. Don't worry about it. Okay. All right. Thank you.